2, 3, go live. And the first 10 seconds can sometimes be awkward, but I think we're live. Hopefully we're live. We'll find out in 1 second. People will start commenting. You guys can look in MLO.net to see if we actually are live. But if we're not live, we're going to fill this time with idle chat anyways. So, all right. So, Chasity, thank you again for coming on and jumping into the MLO network, what we call the Success Series. I'm checking to make sure it's live here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not.
Erica said we are. We're good.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So we went back to software I was using before. It seems to be working a lot better, thank God. Now, I definitely appreciate your time. You and I have known each other for 3.5, 4 years. I think TJ about the same time. You knew him for maybe a few more months than me.
Yep.
So we've been just kind of running in this internet circle with different LOs, different programs, different events, different coaching circles. We've talked on and off, spent some time talking at different events, maybe even drinking together with your husband and different friends.
Yep.
But I know that you've been very successful in your social media efforts, and you put a post out there a couple weeks ago just sharing one tip, and next thing you know, you had hundreds of loan officers asking you what to do and friending you and saying, oh my gosh, I want to do this, I want to be like Chasity, this works great, or oh, this is terrible, I'm getting bad leads. So you had volunteered to spend some time sharing some of the thought process, some of the strategies, some of the, I guess, theory, if you will, behind being intentional on social media, building a group or an audience that actually could potentially work with you or refer you business, something like that, right?
Yep, that's exactly kind of my plan whenever I approach Facebook in general or any kind of social media. I know that was a big shift for all of us a couple of years ago. We were taught to start to use it in a very deliberate way. And so for me personally, I don't use it. It looks very social from someone looking outward in, but for me, I am very deliberate with everything that I post, how I post it, who I want my audience to be. Part of that comes from my marketing background. Otherwise, it's just I've picked up some different objectives from coaches along the way that you guys have been a part of as well. So I know that y'all know what I do probably more than what most people do.
Yeah. I mean, we have a good idea. But I guess the other thing I want to make sure our audience knows is people a lot of times message me this stuff behind the scenes. I mean, you're not an LO that started 2 months ago and you just, added some friends. I mean, you own your own business, you run your own branch. And you guys have, 4 or 5 people working under you right now?
I have 3. I have a loan officer and I have a processor and me. We're a boutique mortgage broker. It is my company. So it's not a net branch of somebody else. It's mine. And LA Lending's been around for 11 years now. So no, I'm not a new chicken, but I've learned new ways to get business, which is great. So
cool. So I guess let's start out with the social media questions. I mean, is it video? Is it pictures? Is it words? I mean, what is it?
It's consistency. Consistency more than anything is key. And then also knowing who your audience is at all times. I joke that I have this one certain couple that is always in my mind when I do any kind of advertising. She's a nurse and he works for the college. They make good money. They've already bought their first home. They are real people. I've done their loan 3 times. They know, actually, I've joked with them that they're my ideal audience. So I always have that in mind with whatever I'm going to post or how I'm going to approach a video. And on the flip side, it's also real estate agents. So the other day, whenever I made that post and everybody was befriending me, it wasn't that I didn't want to be your friend. I was actually on the carousel of suggested friends of local real estate agents in my market, and I didn't want to skew Facebook's algorithm to take me off of that carousel. I basically gained like 200 real estate agent friends in the past 3 weeks. So please, nobody take it personal that I didn't become your friend or that I asked y'all to stop sending me friend requests. It was that I didn't want to mess with the algorithm because at that time I had my ideal client, which is a real estate agent, trying to befriend me instead of me chasing them. So, yeah.
So you're saying step 1 is figure out who your ideal customer or client is or referral.
Always. You always want to know who you're advertising to. That's just advertising 101. So, and just like we tell real estate agents, your job isn't necessarily to do loans, it's lead generation. Unless you work for a call center or a bank and you have automatic walk-in. But I mean, our job really is trying to find that next person who needs a home and then proving to them why you're the best choice. So,
Gotcha. So do you how do you interact with these people outside of just the posts that you make? Do you put them in groups? Do you message them? Do you comment on their stuff? I mean,
okay,
there's got to
so
be some
that's
kind of
one
tip.
tidbit I learned from you guys. Real estate agents I put in groups. They tend to like to be in groups with their own company. They don't like to be in a group that's a mixed bag. But that was something I learned. What was it? Acceleration?
Loan
What was
officer
the one?
acceleration. Yeah, we
Yeah,
were always
loan
talking
officer
about
acceleration. Yeah.
creating a flock or having agent acceleration groups.
So that
Folks
was
that,
something that
you
I
know,
learned from y'all. And then for clients, though, I just communicate with them where they want to be communicated with. If they feel better on Messenger, I'll message them. Um, Erica, my loan officer, is really good about making a voicemail and then following up with a text message and with a link to the application. And she has like a 70% pull through rate. So I mean, that's a pretty great idea. Doing text replacement on your phone so you don't have to retype the same thing.
now, what is the thought process that goes into the videos? I mean, do you just whip out the camera and start to film something? Do you plan it for six
No,
months?
no.
What do you do?
Yeah, you have to be deliberate. You have to know your message. Live video is always going to work better than pre-recorded video, but if that's not your bag, definitely start with pre-recorded. I actually pull ideas from, my website. I go through 220 Marketing. It's a really nice website, and they actually send me a monthly newsletter that they want to send out to my clients. And I don't actually like run my marketing, my CRM through them. So I'll just pull little ideas. Like the other day, I did 4 things not to do before getting a mortgage, and that got a lot of traction. It's also what you title your video. You have to make it catchy and not necessarily what you're going to talk about because then people aren't going to watch it. It's good lighting, finding your bag. Hold on one second. We're actually
Agent
participating.
cook-off. That's got to go
Yeah,
viral on social media.
we're gonna do a cook-off. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you want to say hi
Thank
to the
you.
World Wide Web?
Yeah, we're on a webinar right now, so thanks. So yeah, we're participating in a cook-off with real estate agents in 2 weeks. Yeah, so darn it, I just missed an opportunity to grab me another realtor. So no, but yeah, I mean the video thing, it's more about being intentional, knowing what your message is going to be. If you're not super comfortable yet, record it several times over until you feel like it's comfortable. Don't make it sound pre-recorded or rehearsed though. And good lighting. I find that in my car, I'm very comfortable and I can open my sunroof and I'll get some nice natural lighting. But
The first video that you recorded, was it perfect?
no, definitely not. I think the first time I recorded a video, I probably recorded it 60 times before I even wanted to send it out there, And now if you stick me on live, I can do pretty well. And what the beautiful thing about live is that if you don't like it, you can delete it right after. And then if you like it or if you get some interaction and you can interact at that time frame with people, then you have the option to post it afterwards. So, and it sends a little notification to everybody that you're friends with that you're going live.
Right, and you can talk to people like we got, let's see, Ryan Shollick, Stephen Myers, Melody Gunning, Sean Greenway, Aaron Cannon, Dan Keller, John Elliott, Ashley Corville,
Is Dan watching
Chavez,
this?
Chris Burleson, Matt Stevens. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them. We'll ask Chasity as we go along. So, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Hey,
So,
everybody that's watching. I haven't even been, I guess I should pick up my phone and see because I'm getting buzzers off the notifications. But yeah.
So one question that people always ask me, and I know TJ and I talk about it. In fact, you and I were chatting about it just Thursday. You say you want to be consistent. You want to do something once a week. Do you put something in your calendar, to have a specific time of day where you do it? Is it just part of your weekly routine? Like I got to do it at some point this week, or how intentional are you about that?
I would say the more intentional I tell my real estate agents to be very intentional. I had one agent who just was this amazing singer, and I told her to make hers very consistent so people knew when to expect, because people want to cheer for you. They want to be your cheerleader. So I would tell her to do it like at Thursdays at 2, to promo it ahead of time. This is what I'm going to be singing. The one thing that I wish that she would have done was to wear an shirt that said she was a real estate agent, or like a trucker hat, or had some sort of branding behind her, because you want to sell without selling, or gently remind people what you do for a living. And so that was my one thing with her. But I mean, for me, I'm more off the cuff, just because my schedule changes a lot. I have two small kids, but even I could use to be a little bit more intentional with my posting. My loan officer Erica's really good about making sure she gets a video out a week, and she's seen her business explode over the past 3 months. And the way that her Facebook works has changed because her interaction has changed. You know, so
Yeah, because I see a lot of LOs. We've talked about this many times. I mean, they have the military Monday, or the Tuesday talk, or
yes,
what's up Wednesday, or
uh-huh.
thirsty Thursday. Whoops. But
That's
essentially,
a good one. I mean, I don't see where that's a problem. So
I'm a loan officer. It's Thursday. I'm gonna stop
it's
by.
Thursday. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so having some consistency, like TJ and I were talking about this recently. He and I personally are doing what we call the Walk the Walk challenge. We spent so much time trying to grow our branches and help other LOs that like our personal production isn't where we want it to be. And one of the challenges we had with each other is like, hey, we need to do videos every week. So we're hitting each other going, hey, what am I going to talk about this week? What am I going to talk about this week?
I mean, you
And
could even make it to where you go to a different restaurant one day a week and have a drink sitting there, and just, like, hey, I'm checking out this restaurant. It doesn't necessarily have to be about what you do for a living. I mean, ideally you do want to give tips and stuff like that, but as long as you're branding in some way or another with which shirt you're wearing, or what logo you put in the corner, or if you have a snap filter, something like that. You're really just trying to gently remind people what you do all the
right,
time, which is why I'm sitting here with my LA lending sign in the background, because I want to remind everybody, if I was sitting behind my computer, I would be hearing too many email dings, and you wouldn't be getting my full attention. So
right. But if somebody is watching in California and they're not licensed in Louisiana and they have a borrower that, hey,
send it to
okay,
me. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, so help Chastity by paying her for her time with a referral. so so when it comes to planning, this is one question that I get a lot, and I see a lot of people talking about, and I don't even know what my stance is on it, but a lot of times I hear loan officers saying like, hey, don't be a sheep, don't copy other people, something's going viral with the LOs, don't do it yourself, pick something different. I mean, what is your thought on that? Should you be copying things you see from other loan officers and here and other
I
groups?
think what my thought on that is, because we've discussed this before. I don't believe in that theory. Okay, number one, your audience and my audience are two completely different audiences. And if you see something that you like that someone else posted, now I might not post it right away, but you better believe I'm snapping a picture of it on my phone, and I'm saving it to a gallery on my phone for work. And I might post it 2 weeks later, or a month later, or 6 months later, or when I'm feeling like I don't have any idea about what I want to talk about this week. I'll go back through that gallery, and I'll see that, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was such a good idea, because you're not going to remember it 5 months from now what was posted. I'm not saying for everybody to do it on the same day. I'm also not a big proponent of every loan officer liking your post, because that's not your target audience. If you're posting something and you have 38 likes and 30 of them are other loan officers around the country, it's helping your visibility a little bit, but it's not really doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's not income generating, because you want clients to like that. You want prospects to like that. So that's why I'm big on remembering who your audience is when you're posting. If you need a like just to boost your rank, I mean, we're always there for you, but don't feel like you're victorious when 80% of the people have liked it are loan officers, because that's not who we're going for.
If you got 1,000 loan officer friends and 50 real estate agent friends, and
you're not winning. Yeah, you're not winning this game. So, yeah, you might get some good ideas, but you need to start boosting up your friend request, So, and don't be afraid to ask people to be friends. No one remembers who asked who. I promise you, the 200 agents that I just became friends with, some of them I sent a friend request out to, some of them asked me, and I don't remember who I sent a friend request out to.
Now, I've got a pretty strong opinion on this, and I'm interested to hear what your opinion is. My opinion is that I hear LOs come in and say, well, the social media thing's a waste of time and quit screwing around all the time. My opinion is you shake hands with them online, but that helps you create opportunities to shake hands with them in person. TJ and I have been using a phrase that we've heard from many people, but a lot of times we hear it from Tim Pasquarella, our good friend at the company we're at now. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. So, if you can shake tons of hands online, it makes it way easier to meet these people when you see them at a barbecue or a real estate event, or you still have to have the face-to-face interaction. The social media is not supplanting or replacing the face-to-face. Rather, it's strengthening the relationship and creating new relationships.
I would think it's taken the edge off of when somebody does meet you, they feel like they almost know you a little bit. If I can post a video and get 1,700 views, I just shook hands with 1,700 people. So they might not have all commented, they might not have all liked, but they saw my face, they heard the inflection in my voice. They got to know a little part of me without me having to work too hard for that, So social media has changed my business. It's made it a lot easier. I don't have to go deliver donuts,
One thing that I've mentioned on previous Hangouts, and I think I first mentioned it when I did a Hangout with DJ Christopherson. Remember, we were all in the same circle a long time ago.
Yeah.
We were talking about meeting the agents and staying in front of them and just full well knowing there was some you were never going to work with, but you still wanted to connect with them just because you want them to know who you are in the marketplace, because they could be a listing agent. You could have a big negotiation going with them. And, when I started adopting that strategy, I found, hey, I'm going to call this listing agent, but I already know him. I'm already friends with him on Facebook. I may not have met him in person, but hopefully he knows who I am. And then when I call him, like, oh, hey, I'm the Facebook guy. I'm Facebook Fish. You've seen me before, right? We're in all those real estate groups together. It's a way easier conversation with the listing agent than, I'm so-and-so from 10 states away, but I promise my guy's really good. Read the letter,
Yeah, I promise I'm really good at what I do, but you have no clue who I am. This is already our gentle introduction. Stacy actually mentions that a lot. She'll be in Starbucks and she'll say somebody, she's in Denver and somebody will walk up to her and go, oh, you're the VA girl from Facebook. That's what's better brand recognition, So, I don't think that I've come to that level of fame yet locally, but I'm working on it.
So do you occasionally go into a coffee shop and people say, oh, you're the Mickey Mouse girl that's always in Disneyland?
Not always. I wish I was. If I could figure out a way how to work remotely from Disney World, we would be having a different background right now. No, but I do meet people all the time who are like, oh, you know what the biggest thing is? My kids. They'll see me and they'll be like, I knew your kids, so they'll recognize my children. Which I keep that to a minimal on the public stance, but I'm also not afraid of being friends with people. I want my friends list to be mostly people in my area that I can help, so yeah, but I haven't reached that level of fame yet. Maybe soon.
Yeah, but you and I think the same. I want a good, solid, strong local audience, people that I could potentially drive and meet, hopefully within 30 miles, right?
Well, I was doing a real estate class specifically, and we were talking about the top 40 list, which I'm sure everybody in here, y'all probably discussed that before, like a hit list, and I had my realtor hit list. And he goes, well, how do you know this works? And I was like, because you're sitting in my class. We had never done a deal together, but I got him to come, and that was like class 3, and he was still coming. So, yeah, it's true. Nice. It works. Like, people want to be validated online. That is number one. People want to be validated. So don't be a lurker, comment, like, send private messages, and you know what? Us 3 are friends because of Facebook. So everybody out there that's a loan officer that's in this group that feels like they have some friendly connection, we don't know each other. They don't know you, but they know the persona that you put out there. Which is exactly what we're talking about. Make a persona for your ideal customer, not just loan officers on a page.
I think that's an important thing. And hey, Fish, I'm actually going to contribute. Sorry, everybody. I've been working on a file here as we do this, so I kind of popped up. But the biggest thing is, it's being active, but it's creating that persona of who you want your ideal customer to perceive you, right? And not just talking about mortgages. I see so many loan officers. So Fish and I are friends with loan officers because of MLOnet, from across the country. So not necessarily just our local area, but across the country. we see so many of them talking about rates are going up, rates are going up. I can still close this month. But that's every single post they have. And that's one of the great things you do, and Fish mentioned it briefly, is you have that nice balance of you being a true person and a family and people getting to know who you are more so than just the numbers. And so, I mean, I would encourage everybody if you're interested in incorporating this style of social media, make sure you're doing that. Have that balance, right? Have that balance. Fish, many years ago when we first met in our first coaching group that we were part of, it was what, 3-1, 4-1, or something like that. You have to have that balance of personal
for every
posts
3 posts for them. Yeah, 1 post for me. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But
yep.
I can't even tell you the last time I discussed rates. And it's not that I don't believe people rate shop, but I can't even think of the last time that I said something about interest rates on Facebook. Probably 3 years ago when they dipped to 3%.
You got those sweet broker rates though, so you're not worried about getting shopped. So
well, sometimes, but
or if you do get shopped, you're like, go ahead, shop me.
I would rather somebody know that I'm really, really good at my job and just to remember what I do for a living. I'll sell them when they come and ask me for information. I would just rather than think I'm really good at what I do. Because I promise you, the average consumer is not even reading or listening to your video about interest rates. Yep. They're going to go blind to your message or they're going to unfollow you.
Yeah, we talk to real estate agents about that all the time. Like, yes, I understand you love real estate stats. You love talking about appreciation and how many homes sold in the county. I'm like, but after a month or two, no one really cares about that.
How about that, Keller Williams? What's your zip code? Post your zip code.
yeah, that one went pretty fast. Speaking of Keller, I talk about it all the time. I get the same email from about 7 different Keller agents once a month on a Sunday evening. It's whatever their drip campaign is. It's from stuff I've signed up for, but it's so impersonal. Whereas someone who uses a video, a bomb video, or something like that, I'll watch that. Yeah. Even if they are talking about real estate stats, I'll watch that because it's different. It's not me trying to scroll through the same pre-written canned spam or newsletter that most people send out.
I like the bomb thing, but somebody mentioned in our realtor class yesterday, our iPhones take pretty damn good, videos now. There's really no purpose to even doing that. You can text a video to a client and they can watch it and watch it as many times as they need to get the message that they need to get. Or you can slide dial them a voicemail, So, I mean, honestly, you don't even need to pay for a service. It's not even something, because I was new before, at a certain time, and I wasn't able to pay $500 a year for this service or whatever, like Mortgage Coach, that'll let us put a video in the bottom. And I rarely even do the video, which I should, it's something I should do. But honestly, whip out your iPhone, take a video, tell somebody who you are and where they're at in the process and send that to them instead of, hey, your appraisal's been ordered.
Yep. Yeah, I do the Mortgage Coach video more now that they allow you to film from your iPhone than I ever did before.
I could have sworn that I was going to. I just haven't implemented. But yes, it is part of my plan, So, but me, I love my Mortgage Coach. So.
Yeah, me too. Fish, not so much.
I go through the numbers. See, I don't know if I've ever showed you my engineer killer process. It's similar, but I got to deal with all these Detroit number crunchers. And
that's right. Let's not forget the only place that has engineers is Detroit.
That would be good for the engineer. I find it works the best with CPAs. They're the ones that click the link. But I also don't just send it. I have a whole copy and paste draft thing where I snip pictures of the numbers. I encourage them to go to the link, but if they don't, it's not a big deal because it's still right there for them if they don't want to see too much. I have
just send the link. You just send the link. That's just encouraging to get shopped.
Yeah, exactly. So
the best practice, at least from my perspective, is scheduling a time to talk to them and sending them that link or your own personal method. Like I use hand-done spreadsheets and tables and charts and all the stuff that I've been using for years. But I send it to them 5 minutes before we chat. Yep. I make sure they're ready for the call. They get the email right before I pick up the phone and dial them. So as I'm talking to them, I'm walking through it. And so I'm not really giving them a chance to shop without asking me questions. So, I can
Yeah.
address their engineer inquiring mind mentality, but I didn't send it 3 nights before I talked to them. I want to nail down the sale. But that's me.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point because, like I said, if you're just throwing it out there and just like, here, check this out, anytime, whether it's a spreadsheet, whether it's a mortgage coach, whether it's one of the 10 different products that are out there like that, you're just setting up your borrower, your client, to be confused, or you're setting them up to be overwhelmed and want to go to somebody else to get the information. Where if you do
Yeah.
it that way, where you get it to them, and then you say, hey, okay, let's hop on and walk through this, then you're controlling the narrative. You're putting that discussion the way you want to. You can answer the questions that they have live at that point and really help them out. I know for a fact when I've sent that out, like if I'm in a rush and someone asks me to get numbers together, I'm like, here, I'll send this out. Let's try to chat later on tomorrow. It never goes well because it's just too much
I think
information.
it depends on what your draft message is. I have a pretty good, it seems very personable. I'm not saying that I'm not personable. I do tailor it based on the situation, but I have a really good formula for sending it out. And then I'll just follow up a day or two later. Did you receive this? Is there anything you want to talk about? I make sure that they know that rates change with the current market. And I'm not afraid of being rate shopped or anything like that. So sorry. We're getting lunch over here, so.
Kind of speaking about, I know this is kind of just a chatting and sharing information type of thing, but speaking of video, if you are going to get into, really promoting mortgage or talk about rates or talk about numbers or whatever it is, that's where, you should use something like a video for Mortgage Coach or some of the great content in MBS Highway that you can actually make a quick little video just of you narrating over this, showing why it's so important to buy now, buy versus rent, something like that, talking about some local statistics that isn't just, look, I love me, obviously. Every video I do is just me talking into the camera, right? But sometimes my best videos, the ones that get the most views on them, are ones where it starts off, it's me, and then I add in, so a screencast and some numbers or things like that I'm doing a narration over, and then ending with me right there. It's not just me talking into a camera right there.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we know
find
Dan
my
Keller
best
does that a
videos.
lot.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's where we picked it up from is watching Dan and how well he does with that.
I know, and he's really great. We definitely watch some of his stuff too. So
So tune
no,
in
but
in 1
I
hour.
mean,
Dan will be here.
yeah, I'm gonna watch. So basically, but I do, if you do video, try to figure out a way to put subtitles on it because most people watch them silently. I would
Right.
say that that's a big one that we're working on over here. And, unfortunately, Facebook is only offering it through the business pages right now. But honestly, that's not really the way to do a video. You really want to do it from your personal page. But I would also say that my best videos are usually tips, like, how to fix something on your credit report or, the steps of pre-qualification, or like I said, the 4 things not to do before getting a mortgage. Most of the time, if you mention rates, people are, it's done,
So, all
They're
right,
not
so
gonna-
here's the question I ask everybody we have on here, all right? So
Okay.
I send a card
I
out
feel like I
for
should
you.
have been prepared for this.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's best when we kind of ask it off the cuff. But if you ever watch our videos, I ask this question every time for 3 years. So I send the limo down for you, picks you up, drops you off here in Bel Air, Maryland, and you say, okay, I'm taking over the market. What is the first thing you're doing to build your business?
I mean, the phone is your friend, So the first thing that I would do is I would get a list of the producing real estate agents in the market. I would take off the first 25 or 30. I would look at like percentages. I'm not going for the people that are closing 20 deals a month. I want the ones that are closing 3 to 4.
Right.
And I'd pick up the phone and I'd start calling the next 20 until I get 10 appointments scheduled that week. That would be the first thing I would do. And then I would follow up with those people every single week until they sent me a deal or told me to go away.
I like it. I like it.
It's
Yeah,
the
that's
we
what
call
I
it the
do.
2-finger method. You follow up until you get 1 of 2 fingers. This
Yep,
one or the
exactly.
one, the other one.
But that's what I would do. And then once I got in good with 1 or 2, I would start asking them if they have some friends at their agency that I can hold a class for. Because I'm trying to show them that I am way more than just a great mortgage broker. They can see that from my testimonials online. I want to show them that I'm invested in them and their business and how to make them grow.
Yep.
as
And we see that from Dan Keller and John Thomas and Ashley Corville also. You know, they get out there, they meet, they get the relationship, but then they prove value more than just, yeah, I take the application, I return phone calls, I provide great rates, great service, etc.
Everybody does that. Everybody does that. You have to set yourself apart. You
Yep.
need to know your unique selling proposition just as much as you need to know who you're advertising to.
Yep. Cool.
You know?
I like it.
So,
I
yep.
like it. I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm not sending the car for you, but you know, if I did, I know you'd come in and take over. So main reason why we're not doing this. Yeah.
I am very confident in myself, so watch out.
Yeah, I'm confident in you too. So, like I always said, you're one of my favorite people, not in the business, not just on Facebook, just one of my favorite people I've met from our conversations, mostly on the phone, obviously, a few times in person.
We got you on a plane once. We
Once.
did.
Once.
You know,
Fisher's got me on a plane one other time too. I flew out to Detroit when I signed the Ross contract in blood. They said, "All right, TJ, 20 companies is it. You got to sign the lifetime contract right here."
Oh, good Lord. Nobody's going to own me. No.
So, cool.
So,
What else you got,
well, it's
Fish?
great
Anything?
talking to you guys. So, I miss y'all.
You know where we are. We're in the net. So, Fish, anything to wrap up with, my friend?
I got nothing else. Are you going to the EXP thing in NOLA? There's a small chance I might be going to that.
I am not sure. I have a training class that I'm doing on the 12th in New Orleans. So I don't know. I mean, with the kids, it's just super hard to just go to fun work stuff. Yeah, I'm mom, so
Maybe we'll have
Kids
some more
doing
fun work stuff
everything.
soon.
yeah. Well, y'all have a great day. Go get some loans. Everybody make a vow to themselves to go take 2 applications today. One of them might work.
Two.
You know.
Two.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, Chasity, thank you so much. Great catching
Okay.
up. Appreciate your
Bye,
contributions
guys.
to the net. That's it.
Thanks.